Whoa. I like this song. I don't think I've ever heard this song before, Cody. All right, you ready, Cody? Hey, welcome back. Don't do that just to mess with Cody. Can you hear that? Yeah. You can hear that, right? Hey, welcome back. You're tuning to Sports Talk with Big Sarge right here on Raise the Praise 100. I'm your host, Big Sarge, along with
Young Cody. Big Sarge. Stop the presses. We got some breaking news.
Whoa, wait a minute. Hold on. Time out. Say this one more time.
Breaking news. Hot on the table. Hot.
Breaking news.
Yes, breaking news. The Euros. We have Italy.
Wait, Euros like the money?
No, like the games, in the brackets.
What, like soccer?
Like soccer. Yeah, football.
Wait, hold on. Say it again. What is it?
Football.
See what I just did right there? Well, what is it again?
Football.
Yeah, you see how I just did that? I turned your mic off. Gecko, did you bring soccer on the show?
Soccer. Italy 0, Spain 0.
Is this the finals?
Yeah, this is the semifinals. So whoever wins this game goes to the finals.
Are they playing Germany? Is Germany out of it?
Yeah, Germany.
Then why leave it to USA?
Italy, Spain, England, Denmark.
Wait, so USA not in it? What?
I don't even know. Where is Denmark?
Are you serious right now?
Denmark right next to Maine?
Well, wait a minute.
Delaware.
So, Delaware. Side note, you know Delaware is the first state, right?
What?
Yes. No, Delaware was the first state, and they are proud of that too.
Really?
I've been to Delaware twice. It's something we have to talk about offline, but yeah, I've been to Delaware twice, and they're like, the first state. I was like, I don't care from Texas. I can put this state in El Paso. Literally, put this on the other side of Texas and not even consider y'all nothing but El Paso, Delaware. Yeah, did you bring soccer onto the show? Especially if United States not in it or Germany not in it? Why would I even care?
Spain is in it. And Italy. Italia.
If they win, do I get free pasta? Then why would you even bring it up? Like, full disclosure, if it was the World Cup, I like watching the World Cup. But the Euros, I could care less about. What is this? These clubs that they be having? Who Ronaldo play for? But which is the one where the black dude played for? Because he really good. That's the one I read his story, and he went through a lot of racism.
There's only one black dude.
Wait, it's more than
the only one I know.
It's like more than one black dude?
Yeah.
They play in the Euros?
Yes.
Which one of them got the bananas through at him? And they was calling him monkey. Whoever he played for, I for him, not the team. You remember? You know that story, though, right? Now, wait a minute now. Hold on. Time out. Whoever Mexico is playing.
This is called the Euros. Yes.
Mexico has some very nice fans. It's like watching. Have you ever watched? Did you watch beach volleyball in the Olympics? You ever watch the Brazilian team? The Brazilian female team.
I don't watch beach volleyball.
Oh, why you wow?
Gymnasium volleyball.
Oh no.
Gymnasium volleyball.
All I'm gonna say is I'm not watching a lot of the Olympics this year, but I am gonna watch beach volleyball, especially when Brazil plays or any other of Latin descent team plays on the female side. Only because like I'm really into volleyball, right?
Oh, yeah.
I'm really into beach volleyball.
Right. The spikes are awesome.
Oh my God, yeah, Cody. Do you imagine? Can you? Do you see the agility and the power and the strength it takes to navigate through sand? You ever ran on sand?
Yeah.
It's hard, right?
Pretty hard.
So imagine playing a sport, yeah, Cody. Like these are athletes, like real athletes. Oh my goodness!
I wonder what workouts.
Wow. Do you think you can YouTube that?
Maybe.
Because I'm all in support of athletes, young Cody, and that's doing these different types of events. And it's just something about how great the Brazilian women's beach volleyball team is that just it hooks me up to be cool. Wait, hold on. Are they playing the Brazilian team?
That's even better.
If they're playing the Brazilian team, I'm all for it. Like they're playing the Brazilian team? Yes.
So who do you support?
With what? With what? The women got a team for the USA? I've never even done that. Well, I think I did. Didn't one of
They won a bunch of times in a row.
is one of the women the one that had the baby and then came back and still played? I don't even listen, young Cody. I can't name you one player from the United States. I don't even know. Listen, hold on. I don't even think I can name you one player from the Brazilian team. You know what I'm gonna watch?
Love the athletes
On Thursday when we come back here for Petty Thursday, because I'm gonna go home and do some research, and I'm gonna have the names of some of these Brazil. Because you know what, I feel like I should know these names, right? Like I should know these names if I want to root for them in the Olympics, right? So when I come back here, Cody, oh my God, look here, Cody, I'm like this. Oh my God, I got to do homework. I don't want to do homework. I got to study and watch the Brazilian, the women Brazilian national beach volleyball team as they push their way towards the goal. They probably ain't that. I don't even know if they won a match. What'd you think? You think they won a match? All right. Once again, you tune in to Sports Talk with Big Sarge. I'm Big Sarge along with Young Cody. It's a lot of drama that has been going on. And in all actuality, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised with this drama that's going on because this company has been known to keep drama, right? This company has been known to keep drama. So I don't know if you're familiar with this ESPN Rachel Nichols. She's the NBA host of The Jump, and it used to be I guess Countdown or whatever. And Maria Taylor, who is one of the bright and rising stars at ESPN. Have you heard about this little kerfuffle that's going on? I'm going to play a little bit of the audio, young Cody. I'm going to play a little bit of the audio from what's been going on, what started all this.
For Maria, so I have declined. I don't know what their next move is, but they are feeling pressure because of all of that. And I'm trying to figure out like how to just, my thing is like I wish Maria Taylor all the success in the world. She covers football, she covers basketball. If you need to give her more things to do because you're feeling pressure about you.
Yeah, Cody, I'm going to stop it right there. Let me just stop it right there before I go any further. Did you hear what she said? She says, I think Maria Taylor does a great job. She says, I think Maria Taylor does a great job for what she does, right? it's the next statement that I'm about to play that got me. Because you could have just left it at that. But she didn't. She goes on. And here it is.
There was a crappy one-time record on first date, which by the way, I myself, like, never personally from the female side of it, but go for it. Just, find it somewhere else. Like, you're not going to find it with me.
Classic.
You heard what she said, right, young Cody? You heard what she said, right? Let me bring this back. Because I want to play the whole thing, like right in that part, because I want you to hear something. Right here, young Cody. I want you to listen right here.
Success in the world. She covers football, she covers basketball. If you need to give her more things to do because you're feeling pressure about your really crappy one-time record on first date, which by the way, I myself, like, know personally from.
What does she mean if you need to give her something else to do? What does she mean by that? What does she mean by if you need to give her something else to do? Like if you need to give her something else to do, like she hasn't earned that. What do you mean by give her? Give her.
You say she's really good.
Give her. Not what she's earned. Because you just said she's really good at this and really good at that. So how come they can't give her what she's earned? Now, here's the thing, right? With this. I understand. And this is the problem that I have, what I'm about to say. This is the problem that I have with, there's a lot of people whose understanding gets convoluted or gets all jumbled up and scrambled because they're only listening for one thing, or they're only listening to the things that's going to fit their narrative without listening to everything. What she's saying, right? Because she goes on to say about how, so maybe I should do this. Let me stop. So what happened was last year when the NBA went to the bubble, right? This was right after all the George Floyd murder protests and things like that, and the Black Lives Matter movement was, very, very strong. And so Maria Taylor was on air, and they were allowing her to give her feelings or whatever the case may be. And so they put her on the NBA Finals countdown show. Well, Rachel Nichols, who had been doing the NBA, she hosts the jump, and she hosts the jump and she hosts the NBA countdown show, which is their main show leading up to the game. And so they took that away from her, from what she said. They took that away from her and gave it to Maria because of the diversity thing, trying to pander. Now, ESPN does their own job of pandering, so I'm pretty sure they would have found a whole nother way to be able to use that, right? To use pandering or use, that whole George Floyd Black Lives Matter thing to their advantage. But she didn't want to be a sideline reporter. She felt like what she said was in her contract, which I haven't seen, but she said it was in her contract that she was supposed to host that. She was upset that Maria Taylor was hosting, right? So this story is a year old. It just dropped on the 4th, right? So this story is a year old. Who I think TMZ got it first, but the New York Times did the article.
Where is TMZ?
As long as they got the money to buy the stories. They got the money to buy whatever they want. And the things they don't get is because people don't want to sell it. Hey, look, take the money and split it with me. Hey, listen, put the dirt out there, young Cody. It don't matter to me none. I'm gonna come right here and I'm gonna be like, I'm sorry. I know I shouldn't have taken Cody's hat off during the break and let the world see. But it was on me. I got it. Hey, right? But with that being said, so it came out that this story, and it makes sense now because, you go back and you listen to some of the things Maria Taylor, I watched a video of her talking about, dear Black queens or whatever the case may be. This was right after all this went down. So this has been festering. And ESPN has known it, and that's where they dropped the ball. We'll get to that in just a second. And so fast forward to now, the New York Times put it out. They put it out after going through all their sources or whatever the case may be. Now, as I digress, what Rachel Nichols said leading up to the point before she said the diversity thing, okay, I would have understood that. If it would have been an issue and a problem, what you just said, I think that I'm better. Great competition. It doesn't matter. I always root and I always go for the people who think that they should be. I always say, you go into any situation, I don't care who you're going up against. If you can be going up against what some consider the best in your profession. But if you go in there with a defeatist attitude and not willing to compete, you've already lost. There's nobody in print journalism, radio, and television that I think is better than me. Now, there are some people that I admire. There are some people that I even look up to. But if you put us in a room, I'm not going to cower down and bow down to you just because of who you are. No, I'm going to go. We're going to go. And if I lose based off of whatever's being whatever is being used to judge win or loss, then okay. It just lets me know I got to come back promote. But there's no possible way that I'm ever going to go into it with a defeatist attitude. So I can see if Rachel Nichols was like, no, wait a minute, hold on, time out. Y'all letting her take my job, but no, I'm better than that, or whatever the case may be. It was the diversity thing that got me. And that's what I've been trying to tell people to listen to. That's the backhanded racial undertone in the whole situation. Now, do I think that Rachel Nichols is racist? No. I don't think she's racist. But what did we talk about last week? This got some racial residue to it, right? It has some racial residue. And you put yourself in a racial conversation, or be, for some people that want to call you a racist or say that this is racist, you put yourself there when you involve ESPN and their diversity. That's something that you could have kept out. Now, I understand you were talking to somebody who you thought was a friend, right? Or you considered a friend. And you know how this audio got leaked, right? I'm sorry. Okay, so you asked me who leaked the audio. Okay. Or who had it to leak. So, like I said, TMZ got a hold of it too. TMZ had got a hold of it. But what happened was, on last year, new technology to film from different places. So she had to do the jump from her hotel room. Well, the technology that they sent her, she didn't turn off the camera. So by not turning off the camera, yes. So all that whole conversation, that whole conversation was being recorded on the ESPN servers because the technology she was using fed directly into the servers. So anybody could go, because when she's filming, somebody might be like, hey, I need that cut from, I need a segment 2 from the jump where Rachel was talking to Kendrick Perkins about blah, 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 blah. So it feeds directly into, because you don't think that you're going to get anything incriminating. So when they found out, one of the young ladies who happened to be Black, who got disciplined, and then she ended up leaving the ESPN, but she got disciplined because she sent the audio to Maria Taylor. And they disciplined her for that, which I don't understand why. They shouldn't have. If Maria Taylor's the one that's being talked about, then she should also be known what's being talked about behind her back. And just like I read in the article, it makes it hard for Maria to go back because the person that Rachel Nichols was talking to is one of LeBron James' personal advisors. So now, not only can you mess up something potential between Maria and LeBron, but all clutch agent, which in turn is the Los Angeles Lakers. Exactly. And so I don't have any sympathy for Rachel when it comes to that. One, look, you can't blame anybody because you don't know how to work technology. She tried to get mad. It's like, I can't believe you creep on one of your coworkers in a hotel room. Nobody creeped. Nobody remotely set the camera on. Nobody remotely cut on the video recorder. This is all on you. This is right.
That's how do you turn this off?
Yes.
I may need a break. I may need to do like how do you turn it off?
Exactly, young Cody. And so it all falls on her. But what happened is, and what upsets me is the fact that people are trying to say, well, what she said wasn't wrong. But what she said about the whole competition type tone that she had, or, they told me, ESPN told me I wasn't going to lose my job, blase this, blase that wasn't wrong. But that diversity comment that she made, that was towards ESPN, but had an undertone of the only reason she got her job was because they were trying to pander to the African Americans due to the situation that was going on in America during that time. That is the problem that I have. Do you see it that way as well, young coach?
Yeah. I don't like, it's just some stuff that are like super iffy. And this is like, I understand where she's coming from. Because if I have a job and I see somebody else coming in and I'm like, well, why are you giving them my job? I understand, like you said, like I understand the competition aspect. Like I'm better than that person. I've been doing this longer. I'm better than that person. But you can't say, oh, because she's black is why. You started off with a compliment. You said she's great.
Exactly.
She's doing all this good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then like a backhanded compliment, like, oh, well, the only reason that she's here is because she's black. Pretty much is what she said.
Exactly.
And like you said, I mean, that to me, that's an issue.
And
It's not racist, but it's like it's almost like when people are upset when we don't like or we don't like when people steal our culture. For example, TikToks, right?
yes.
A lot of the TikTokers have black TikTokers have boycotted TikTok and they put it out because they're not getting represented. All white people doing dances that they've stolen from these TikToks.
And it's affecting Megan Thee Stallion song.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So some of these TikTokers can't go on here. Like they can't go on here and be like, well, you guys just gotta deal with it. Like, this is the era we live in.
Yep.
You're gonna be like, you just mad because you ain't getting nothing.
Exactly.
You just mad.
Can't copy it.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
So I feel like she's
Elvis Presley. We'll talk about that later on. Go ahead, young Cody. I'm listening. I mean, because I can tell you a whole lot of culture vultures. Jennifer Lopez.
Yeah, that's. I would feel some type of way too.
Justin Timberlake.
Yeah. I'm just praying.
Okay, I'm sorry, young Cody. I apologize, but I'm just thinking of these culture vultures and what you speak of. Pat Boone. Stole from Little Richard.
It's just she's and then the apology.
Hold on, we're gonna get to that. You know what?
Maria Taylor accept the apology? I'm not.
She couldn't even get in contact. Maria Taylor was not accepting anything from her. And so look,
But how can she go back on ESPN? Like every time I watch ESPN, I'm thinking about it now.
well, here's the thing. So she was supposed to work these NBA finals at sideline, right?
Mm-hmm.
They replaced her with Malika Andrews, a sister. So I guess they're pandering again, right? They're pandering again, but Rachel Nichols won't even work the sideline. So here's my thing, right? All right, quick, because I was going to go to break, but no, I'm here. Like, when I get somewhere, young Cody, I like to stay. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be here for a couple of hours, not on this topic for a couple of hours. When I get somewhere where I'm going to be, I'm going to stay there for a second. So let me stay here for a second. Here's the issue, some more issues that I have with this whole thing, right? Rachel Nichols. How come she couldn't have worked her way up with her talent like you said you did? Why couldn't you? And why do you feel like, so what happens is, young Cody, one thing that I never do, I never get comfortable. No matter what I'm doing, I never get comfortable. Because the moment you get comfortable is the moment you'll lose whatever you got. Comfortability breeds laziness, and laziness breeds the ability for somebody to take something away from it. Oh, that was profound. Andy think he be saying some profound stuff. I be saying some profound stuff, but that's what happened. Rachel Nichols got comfortable, and Maria Taylor came along, who is way more talented. Right now, somebody asked me, "What does once in a generational talent mean?" I didn't say she was once in a generational talent. I just know she's more talented than Rachel Nichols.
And sometimes, especially with like, if you're not like there with it,
yep,
A new face may change up something.
Of course, all the
If you're
time.
stagnant with just interviewing people and you ask the same question over and you do the same stuff over and over and over. I just want to change because it's boring.
Because you can't ask Damian Lillard after the Portland Trailblazers defeated the Los Angeles Lakers after Kobe died. Well, do you feel like y'all should have lost the game and let the Los Angeles Lakers win just because Kobe passed away? That's a real legitimate question. That is a real legitimate question she asked. Damian Lillard, should y'all have let the Lakers win because to give them something, because Kobe Bryant passed away? You should have won. See what I'm saying? Last year when Miami Heat won, and she was doing the on-court interview, right? She asked them a question about playing the Lakers and this and another, and Eric Spoelstra had to tell her, hey, can we just... And there's a numerous amount of things, right? And so, Cody, I'm about to play you something right quick. Well, I'm about to play the listener something right quick, and I want you to hear. As I digress, the problem is ESPN. The problem is ESPN and the culture that they have fostered there. And it's terrible. It's horrible, Cody. A lot of people don't look at that because a lot of people are like, ESPN, woo. Cody, let me tell you something. After some of the things I've read, some of the people that I know that have been affiliated, associated with ESPN, some of the former ESPN employees that I meet, African Americans, they say it's the worst company to work for if you're in sports. The worst. And I mean, of course, that's actually kind of good. And Cody, the funny thing is, it's like, well, I mean, of course, you would think that because the company used to be ran by a functioning crackhead. The guy who used to run ESPN was on cocaine, like coke, like white powder, like no, everything, right? Right? Smack. he was only young Cody, and the only reason he resigned was because his drug dealer was about to oust him. This is a full-blown crackhead that was running ESPN, so of course they don't know what they're doing. But Cody, this is Mike Hill, who used to work for ESPN, who now works for the Black Network. Yeah, Black Network. I think that's what it's called. Black Network something. Listen to what he has to say, though, Cody.
Like you mentioned, I did work there for 9 years, and it's sad that when I worked there was a certain culture that existed at ESPN. And look, I will give them credit for being a worldwide leader. I probably would be in the position I am today if it wasn't for those 4 letters being on my resume. So I'm going to give them the credit they deserve. It gave me a lot of exposure, but at the same time, I did realize and I experienced a culture at ESPN that maybe existed at places. But the sad thing about ESPN is it could be such a great utopia, but at times it isn't. And a lot of times the accountability factor is select accountability. There are times where I would do things or I would say things and I would get in trouble for it. And my colleagues who didn't look like me would say the same things and they would be praised for it. There has not been one Black person that has been on air that I can think of right now that has not gone through hell at ESPN. I'll just say it just straight up. Stuart Scott, Stephen A. Smith, Jamel Hill, Kerry Champion, Michael Smith, Mike Hill, anybody that's gone through there's been some sense that you have gone through some sort of hell. And you just got to just put it down like that. And it needs to change. Now, ABC has done a great job. Disney has done a great job with some of the ABC News of cleaning up their culture, getting rid of some of the things. There are certain things at ESPN that needs changing, and it starts at the top. People gonna look at me and say, you know what, Mike, you're just bitter. I'm not bitter. I got past that a long time ago. I left ESPN 8 years ago, and I moved on. I'm at Fox Sports 1. I'm now at the Black News Channel, enjoying myself. But the layers that I looked at, the entitlement, the privilege that came from Rachel Nichols and what she said, taking what's mine, when if you go back, and I'll just break it all the way down, you go all the way back to when she first started, people can look at her and say the same thing about her. Something was given to her, maybe given to her that a lot of people felt like they know there was a situation where I was hosting a show called NFL Live. And all of a sudden, Rachel Nichols, who didn't do a lot with the NFL at that time, was given hosting opportunities over me. I didn't say anything about her being a woman coming in. I just thought that was ESPN making the decisions that they made for whatever reasons they did. I never looked at the person who got the opportunity over me and said, well, you know what, it's their fault. No. Like you mentioned before, Sharon, it is a culture that is prevalent at that network, but it's also prevalent in other places. Sharon, how many times have you been coming up? Bring her back on because I need to see her face. Please. How many times have you been in a position where you were coming up and I know
Hear what he said? Did you hear what he said? He said Rachel Nichols got hosting opportunities over him, and she hadn't really done it. Right? So for her to say that Maria Taylor only got her job because of the diversity record at ESPN, that's borderline racism. You know, go like that's borderline racism. Like I said, I don't think she's a racist. I just think that there's some racist residue. And so maybe we should do that. Maybe we should do a segment called Racist Residue and say, hey, we don't think this person's a racist, but there sure is a lot of racist residue left behind every time they leave somewhere. But just like Mike Hill used to work for ESPN. Mike Hill used to host NFL Countdown. Then all of a sudden, who got it? Rachel Nichols started out at ESPN doing NHL. So she went from NHL to NFL to the NBA, right? Now, people could say, well, you only got that because of who your father-in-law is or who your mother-in-law is. You know who a mother-in-law is, right? Diane Sawyer. You know who Diane Sawyer is? Yes, journalist, like top-notch journalist for ABC. Diane Sawyer is by far one of the best in the business. And that's her mother-in-law, who still has ties and pull at ABC. So I get it, Rachel. I understand. You think that you're entitled or that you're owed something just because you're Rachel Nichols and you've been doing this. But you cannot on one hand say that Maria Taylor is good at her job, but the only reason she's getting these opportunities in this job is because of diversity. That's wrong, yeah, Cody. And everything that he said that they fostered a culture there that was horrible. Now, with that being said, yes, young Cody, I've got to get to this. Hold on one second. Dear ESPN, a company who will probably never hire me, who probably will see this and be like, we'll never hire him. It don't affect me not one bit. I don't care if I don't ever work for ESPN. And if they do offer me a job, it's going to be on my terms, not on y'all's. Because I don't need you, ESPN. I don't need you. Would I like to work? You know why? Because putting those 4 letters behind my name is going to give me more opportunities. More opportunities give me more money. More money gives me opportunities to give more money away. You see how that cycle works? Yeah, Cody, I don't want to be rich and famous because for me or my ego, I want to be rich and famous so I can use my influence and the money that I get to help other people. And I'm not just saying that on air, or I'm not just saying that because it fits what I'm saying right now with this segment. Young Cody, you've known me for 3 years. Have I always not been that way? If I got picked up right now, if Fox Sports called and said, we want to hire you, I'll be like, well, here's my terms. And if you still want me, then okay. And then I'll go to Fox and I'll do my thing. And then once it don't work, I'll just leave. Or you got to fire me or whatever the case may be. But I don't want to be rich and famous. And I don't want to be well known for Big Sarge's ego. Because I could care less. The only people that I have to be big up for is my grandbabies. That's who I want to look up to me and to say, Paul, like you did it, Paul. Of course, that's it. But ESPN, no. So dear ESPN, you probably will never ever hire me. And based on what I'm about to say right now, I can understand. I understand what this small little diatribe that I'm about to go on right now, young Cody. I can understand ESPN, and it's okay. One, Mike Hill, the guy that just got to speak, who's worked for ESPN back in the day. You know, and later on in this interview, you know what he says? What? An executive told him that he would never move up because he was too ghetto. You know who else they told him he was too ghetto? Stuart Scott. They told Stuart Scott that on more than one occasion. And then they started using his quote unquote ghetto-ness for their advantage. See what I'm saying? There's been a lot of times in within ESPN, they have a huge racial component that normally never favors African Americans. The young lady who got fired from ESPN for giving the or not fired, let me take that back. The young lady who quit, the young lady who was disciplined by ESPN by giving that audio of Rachel Nichols to Maria Taylor, she quit. She quit the job. As I was reading and researching for this show today, you know, Cody, there's so many people that have come out who used to work for ESPN and said, girl, tell them the truth. Because if you won't, I will. There's so many people that says Rachel Nichols is a horrible person. She's a horrible person and a horrible person to work with and to work for. That's their words. I've met Rachel Nichols on a couple of occasions, right? It is what it is, young Cody. That's all I'm going to say right now. It is what it is. You know, you try to be cordial and you speak to certain people that you know and recognize this, that, and other. If they don't want to speak back, if they don't want to, you know, talk to you, then cool. So it is what it is. My life will not be affected whether or not Rachel Nichols liked me or not, or whatever. She could have been going through something. I always give people the benefit of the doubt sometimes too when they're going through something. But I digress. They've always had an issue when it comes to race at ESPN. And they discipline different. They act different. Jamel Hill and Michael Smith, you know, they think they always thank ESPN. But if you listen to them talk, it's like the worst ever. They said we hated it there at the end. And there's other people that I know that used to work there. I said used to work for ESPN on air talent who says I would never, ever work at ESPN again. You know why, young Cody, right? ESPN does what a lot of local radio does. They cater to white men in a certain age. That's why they told Mike Stuart Scott he's too ghetto. That's why they told some of the other people there, you'll never rise because you're too ghetto. Even though what they consider ghetto connects to a larger community than just white men in between the ages of 45 and 55. That's what a lot of it is when it comes here to local radio. Like a lot of local radio is, we need to cater to white men that's 45 to 55. And young Cody, how many older white men do you know listen to the radio like that and you worry about their opinion? Because a lot of those still have that mindset of a mindset in which they were raised on. And so that's the exact same thing here. ESPN is a bad company because they've allowed, like, there's been a lot of sexual allegations, right? There's sexual allegations. There's been a lot of people that have had to quit because of sexual stuff, racial stuff. Like I said, the guy who ran it, who used to run, the president, was on cocaine. And so here's my thing. She came back and she apologized. 27 seconds. It was horrible. Did you hear it?
When people, I just would like, instead of people to be apologize right away, I would like them to act.
Yes.
Because if she came back and she was like, you know what, whatever I said back then, I probably still mean it now. And that's just because I'm upset of where my job is going on. I was like, you know what, I actually understand.
Like Shakari Richardson, take accountability.
Right, exactly. Take accountability for what you did. Don't just say I apologize, because I hate that people, like, if I hit a kid in elementary school, you hit a kid, then the teacher says, hey, go apologize. I'm sorry. They don't mean it.
Yeah. They just don't want to get in no more trouble.
Right. So that's just what I feel like all these apologies are for. Now, if you say, I don't understand why everybody's so upset. I don't know. I just know how I feel. Then we can teach you. We can show you. We can. But if you just come out and apologize, you didn't learn anything. You just apologize because you get backlash.
Yes. You're trying to save your career.
Right.
That's what happens to a lot of people when they come out and they make these apologies, especially when it has a racial component to it.
Yes.
Anything that has a racial component, these people are trying to come out, they're not willing to learn. They're not ready to learn the error of their ways and move on, or how insensitive on what they said, what that means. I put it like this. The year that Starbucks closed down for a day because they wanted to do racial diversity training, because they want to teach people how to be more racially and culturally sensitive to other people's needs. That, yeah, I guarantee you that did nobody learn a god dang on thing. Because if they did, we wouldn't have other issues that popped up at Starbucks right after that. Anytime I hear somebody has to go to racial sensitivity classes, anytime I hear somebody has to do diversity training, I wish someone would come to me and say, "Hey, man, listen, they making us take diversity training." I was like, "No, they about to write me up. I'm not going to that for what? You about to make me sit into a class with? You about to make me sit in a class with other people who don't believe in what's going to be taught, who's only going to be like, oh, okay. So if I say the N-word, I just can't say it in the break room. If I say the N-word, I just can't put it on the social media because I can't say the N-word if I'm outspoken. Like, I can only say it in certain areas. I got you. Thank you for that. Because I didn't think that them people would get offended by me saying the N-word. They say it in rap songs all the time.
It's like racial image protection.
Yes, R.I.P. Yes, young Cody. Yes, you are right. Exactly. And that's why I don't like it. I don't like, and you're right. I wish that they would just come out and be like, look, because that ain't the first time Rachel Nichols has. Now, hold on.
It still feels the same way.
I think so too, young Cody. But she came out as an ally. She made all these storybook type videos about all these storybook videos about how she's down for the cause and how she likes Black Lives Matter, which brings me to this. I've seen a whole bunch of black men defending her. And how many white men? I mean, not white men. How many women did you hear defending her? Like, there's been a lot of African American males, former players, co-workers, who have defended her. We're the women. I haven't seen one woman come out in defense of her. Seen a lot of women come out in defense of Maria Taylor. See what I'm saying?
To me, that's the real thing. To me, this is what, to me, if I'm Rachel Nichols, this is what I do. Forget a public apology. I'm like, what is Maria Taylor's number? What is her number? Oh, you can't give me a number? Okay, well, I just call.
Well, she's not.
This person.
She's been trying for a year. Maria Taylor won't talk to her.
He went so trying hard enough.
Yeah, Cody went so far as
you got everything. I created my own account.
She probably blocked
Rachel Nichols. I'll make another account. Hey, this is Rachel Nichols. I just wanted to say blah blah blah. Can we talk? Exactly. I mean,
yeah, because this has been going on for a year. She doesn't want to even be on camera with her. She don't want it to make it seem like they friends at all. Maria Taylor was like, nah, I'm good. Rachel Nichols is trying, but she's only trying so she can save her career. So she can say, oh, I talked to Maria and we're good. Because she keeps saying I reached out to her, but she also has to include Maria won't take any. And you know what, young Cody? That's how it should be. If Maria Taylor isn't ready to talk to her, isn't ready to accept her apology, because what did I say last week, young Cody?
Not just reach out to her and apologize.
Right?
That's what I'm saying. What are you apologizing for?
If you still feel that way.
Like, I don't know. How about I reach out to you for me to understand, to us to get to understanding, some common ground, not to apologize. What are you apologizing for? I'm apologizing that I feel like my job is being overtaken.
Because you're black.
Right.
Not because you're better.
Right.
Not because you're better than me. Not because, everybody likes the flow that you have when you're talking on air with other people. Not that. You just got that job. You're just doing the finals because you're black. But she's still doing the finals, though. So what about this year? Who are they pandering to this year?
Well, maybe Steph Curry should just apologize for what he beat the Cavaliers when Kyrie and Kevin Love. He just apologized. I'm sorry for dropping 40 on time. I'm sorry.
My bad. Like, you know what? It's kind of like our championship since y'all didn't have all y'all players. No. So that's what I'm saying, young Cody. So when it came out, what was it? They came out with Kendrick Perkins and Richard Jefferson, right? Have you heard the apology?
You talking about Richard Nichols?
Have you heard Rachel Nichols' apology and what Kendrick Perkins and Richard Jefferson said?
No, I didn't hear it.
Let's go to the break. When we come back from the break, young Cody, I'm gonna. Right when they started out the jump. Wait, side note, have you seen them do the side-by-side comparison to her apology and how long it takes Giannis to shoot a free throw? You haven't seen that? Oh, it's hilarious. Yeah,
People got jokes.
At all times. You're tuning in Sports Talk with Big Sarge right here on Raise the Praise 100. Hey, make sure you go to RaiseThePraise100.com and vote. Scroll down to the Spin Awards. Vote for everybody. Everybody on there from Raise the Praise. Click yes. Multiple times. Vote again. We'll be back. Still live over here.
Oh. This thing ain't training.
No. Idris Elba. We talked about him the other night. Did you hear us talk about him? Elbow. That's what we call him. Yeah. You ready, young Cody?
Sir, born ready.
It's not born ready. Young Cody, you were not born ready.
99. 76. Born ready.
Welcome back. Tune to Sports Talk with Big Sarge. I'm your host, Big Sarge, along with
Young Cody.
Young Cody. Talk about I was born ready. Born ready to do what? To do what, young Cody?
Ready. Lay down the law.
Cody, you was born in 2000. Come on.
99.
2000. Cash Money taking over for the 99 to 2000, man.
Born December 6th.
Yeah, Cody, you was born during a time where they thought that we was going to all die, right? And the world was going to come to an end in 2000.
But you know what they say?
What?
Behold. Young
In 1999? In December 19.
December 6th. 12/6/9.
You think you Beyonce now? 9, 4, 8, 1.
No, I might drop it. No.
Young Cody's worst hits. You gonna drop a worst hit album you ain't because you ain't got no hits.
I bring a vinyl in here. Bring a vinyl.
Once again, you tune in to Sports Talk with Big Sarge. Right. You don't raise the praise 100 along with young Cody. Young Cody, what's the young lady's name again? You trying to tell me during the break?
Missy May Trainer.
What they play for? Beach.
Beach ball.
Yeah. So, young Cody, before we went to break, caring about that, you should have told me some Brazilian beach volleyball.
They finished third in 20.
The Tokyo Olympics is the one coming up, right?
Well, it's 2012.
Where did
That
Brazil?
was London.
Where did Brazil end up? Who?
It was,
Hey, listen, you gotta say no names. I watch it on mute anyway. I watch it on mute. They came in second, third, bronze. Oh, so they was wait. So Brazilian team finished third, bronze, like they skin color, like golden nuggets, like golden chicken nuggets. That sounded so creepy. Yeah, Cody. Before we went to the break, I told you that we were going to listen to Rachel Nichols and her apology on the jump, right? All right, so here it is.
So the first thing they teach you in journalism school is don't be the story. And I don't plan to break that rule today or distract from a fantastic finals. But I also don't want to let this moment pass without saying how much I respect, how much I value our colleagues here at ESPN, how deeply, deeply sorry I am for disappointing those I hurt, particularly Maria Taylor, and how grateful I am to be part of this outstanding team.
Well, Rachel, I want to say thank you. Thank you for accepting responsibility for your actions. You know, as someone that has known you for a long time, you know, being around you, you have treated me with the utmost respect, and you always made me feel comfortable in your presence. And I know your heart, you know, great person, great individual. I also know Maria Taylor, great person as well, very, very talented, hardworking, and I feel like she also deserves every opportunity that is presented her way. My only hope is that we have a commitment overall to support each other through this process and continue to support each other through our journey.
No, I agree with her. Let me first say this. I fully support Maria Taylor. I've worked with her since I joined ESPN at Get Up and Countdown, and I've known Rachel for 20 years. Rachel and our entire group here have had some very difficult conversations over this time period, and those conversations don't end here. We will continue to have uncomfortable conversations. No one is excused. She is not excused. I am not excused. This doesn't just go away, but we have to learn and understand it and become better for each other. And really through our actions more than anything. And that is our responsibility. And we all have a role in that. And that's something that I take pride in. And I hold to myself and everyone to a very high standard.
Well, thank you guys both for being with me here today. Thank you, everyone out there, for being with us here today. Just below us is Media Day here at the NBA Finals. The Suns and Bucks getting ready to address what is one of the biggest moments of so many players' careers. We will have all of the sound, all of the action for you. Welcome to the jump.
Yeah, Cody. What? Go ahead. Young Cody.
I know.
Unpack it.
Dr. But why they had two? You know what ESPN said? They said, you know what? This is a very racial issue, so we're gonna have two black people go sit on it. Why didn't he get Woj?
Because Woj called her a bad teammate.
Really?
Yes. Bad teammate.
Right. So, and then I don't know if you know about Kenny Purdy. Kenny Purdy is probably the most hated person on the ESPN roster because
They don't like
he's
the way he
an
talks.
analyst. Yeah, analysts that don't really. I mean, I guess he know the game of basketball, but he don't know how to articulate it. So it's very hard to understand what he's saying.
Uh-huh.
And then it feels like Richard Jefferson spoke to Maria Taylor before this, and he had an idea of what he wanted to say, but then he started backtracking.
I don't think Maria Taylor said two words to Richard Jefferson. It's not Richard Jefferson. Richard Jefferson. Name me the last time you said, "Oh my God, Richard Jefferson made a great point." When the last time you actually listened to Richard Jefferson?
I might be in the minority.
Well, okay, well, tell me some of the great analysts,
I can't
analysts.
name one point that he made, but I like
Okay, so that's fair. I mean, we can't remember everything. So just tell me, like, what were you watching him on, and you was like, wow, he's doing an amazing job.
this apology.
Yes.
This was I don't know. It just seemed like ESPN was like, you know what? Let's fight pander with more pander. Because if it was me, I would just be like, Rachel Nichols, you're gonna take a break. Like you want to apologize, do it on your Twitter, do it on your outlets, but you're gonna be suspended for blah 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 amount of time. Because I can't watch the jump without it's not gonna be 5 minutes for an apology.
Somebody said she's going over to Fox Sports One, and it's going to be called The Leap.
Undefeated.
All right. So here's my thing, yeah, Cody. Okay. One, I have an issue. I have an issue with Kendrick Perkins and Richard Jefferson. And the reason I have an issue with them is because they took it too far. After she made her apology, each one of them, all they had to say was, Rachel, I'm glad that you're taking accountability for your actions. That's very you're doing a very stand-up job. Thank you for being accountable for the things that you said. It moved on. But yet, they kept talking. And they kept talking, and it's like, and Rachel, you've been so good to me. You know why, right? Because Rachel outranks them. Rachel holds a higher position. So, young Cody, that's the equivalent to you being the boss, right? You being the boss, getting caught saying something insensitive, right? And then you bring two of the lowest African Americans that you have on the totem pole when it comes to this to sit down and say, I agree.
I'm good, right?
Yep.
How good am I? I ain't never done nothing to y'all, right? Wink.
Right? Right? You got Steven Jackson coming and talking about she deserved that job, and he's coming out defending her. And I'm saying to myself, she hired me, and she hired all a lot of African American males. Well, who else? Because I thought Steven Jackson stopped smoking weed, but if he did, oh well. And look, I know I'm gonna probably once I put this out, I'm gonna receive some smoke from him. I'm cool with that. What have I always told you, Cody? I lost my mama and I lost my wife. And so don't nothing really bother me right now. I'm cool. If it's my time to go, it's my time to go. So if you come to me with smoke, I'm cool with that, and I'm not gonna back down. I'm not. I don't care if y'all come. If you beat me up, I'm gonna sue you. If you pull a gun on me, just better be prepared to use it. Because when they made one weapon, they made a lot. So with that being said, Steven Jackson came out and Steven Jackson said, hey, if it was for Rachel Nichols, a lot of African American males would have their jobs, and a lot of y'all talk that same way. You go get it out the mud. And about, I'm just waiting on Kwame Brown to respond. That's it. And Kwame Brown responded. I was just like,
like if Kwame Brown come out and be like Rachel Nichols, that's you. Like I was like, all right, cool.
He went at quote unquote Becky with the good hair. So. And I'm just waiting. I was like, oh, keep talking, Stephen. The Kwame Brown, because Kwame Brown came back and lit him up. So Steven Jackson said that. And I'm saying to myself, well, I mean, they don't even sound right, because how many white players are you going to get to come on ESPN and talk about basketball? Don't worry, I'll wait. Like, go ahead. Who you got? Gordon Hayward, Kevin Love, who else? Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's not a good point to make, saying that she hired a lot of African American males. Yeah, she had to, because all the former players, good players, are African American males. That's one. Two, between Richard Jefferson and Kendrick Perkins, they should have known, because you can't say, Rachel, I understand and I support you, but I also support Maria too. Now, it isn't a battle between them, but once you take that line, like I put it like this: they shouldn't have never brought Maria Taylor's name into it. Let Rachel say it. But and that's what I'm saying. Like, this is how you know ESPN got an issue and a problem, and they need some new black friends. Don't I always say that? We should do a segment called "You Need Better Black Friends." They need better black friends, and they don't have that because The higher you get up, the whiter it gets. So they don't have really good black friends. They need really good black friends. Because a real good black friend's gonna say what they gonna say? Oh, hell no, 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 and no. No. Let Rachel say what she has to say. Let Rachel be the only one that uses the real thing.
It's her issue.
Exactly.
What Richard Jefferson did first.
And that's what I'm saying. So they brought them out. They brought them out. Of course, they got to do the show, the jump. But that should have been one segment where it should have been a solo. Like, young Cody, I don't know the camera lingo, but they should have just had one camera directed
You
on.
always do those little monologues, right?
Right?
She did the whole one.
On with herself.
Right.
But bringing out Kendrick Perkins and bringing out Richard Jefferson was the wrong move. And by it being the wrong move, young Cody, it was one of those things where it's like, okay, I'm going to say this. And since they're calling me a racist, I need some black people up here to say that I'm not a racist. Because ultimately, that's the image that they were trying to portray. Oh, well, she can't be a racist because she gave Richard Jefferson a job and she got Kendrick Perkins a job and she works with them. Now, y'all say good things about Miss Rachel now, okay? You make sure you say good things about Miss Rachel. You don't say good things about Miss Rachel, they's gonna come and get you. I'm sorry, young Cody. I'm here today. I'm here. And they're wrong. Kendrick Perkins shouldn't have said nothing. Richard Jefferson shouldn't have said nothing except that it is, Rachel, it is really good to see you take some accountability for your actions. Coming up next, Chris Paul. Who does look NBA Finals? Who deserves it more?
Things you learn in journalism is never make yourself a story.
So you know that.
We'll get off air.
Right?
What? That doesn't make any sense.
And here's the thing. Here's the thing that I have, young Cody. Oh, I gotta put this on paper. Let me get this on text. Because, this is my Article 15 now. This is my Article 15. I was gonna do Article 15, but I'm here now. This is my Article 15. Young Cody.
Yes.
Here's the thing. So, hey, dear Rachel Nichols, you apologize to Maria Taylor. Are you going to apologize to all the other people that you've talked about behind their backs? You're only apologizing to Maria Taylor because it's a story that has been festering for a year. You nor ESPN jumped in front of this thing, and it hit you like a ton of bricks because you thought it had went away, and it did not. So if you're going to apologize to Maria Taylor, then you need to apologize to every other African-American, Latino, Asian, white, Anglo-American, like whatever you said, and I don't want to just limit it to black people. Like whatever you said or you've done to hurt anybody behind the scenes, you need to apologize. Yes. What's up?
Don't tell me you're sorry for the
Oh.
You're only sorry you got caught. Hey.
I don't know that song. Go ahead. Like I think I may have heard it like in a department store at Macy's or something. I'm not a Rihanna fan like that, Cody. I know she sung umbrella, Ella, eh. Oh, and she sing work. I never seen it. Work. She sing that song. What else she sing? Was he choking her?
He's gonna make me joke this one.
Was he choking her when she was singing that song? Because the lyrics go, "How you supposed to breathe with no?" Did she make that after the Chris Brown situation or before?
Had to be before. You can make it after.
Like maybe she was like, "This is what he was choking me."
Man, there was out back in the day.
It's still over for Chris Brown. They be bringing stuff back.
That's
Chris Brown is very talented too. I think he just deals with the mind.
I'm not retailing.
Rachel Nichols. So that's what I'm just saying. Yeah, Cody. So let me ask you this before we get ready to get up out of here. Let me ask you this. Rachel Nichols is going to come back from this, right? My second question, if she does, how many players do you think are going to want to interact with her?
I say the one question, like I said before, they're kind of probably gonna feel something.
Okay, so because some of them are going to be forced. Like when she comes back, some of them are going to be forced from the communication department at the teams. They're going to, because it's ESPN.
You can always answer it like, you know how it works. So you know, like, yeah, okay, cool. But I still think a wide majority, like you said before, I think black males don't really see the issue.
No, wait.
Well, not don't see the issue, but
former NBA player black males, because you got to look at it like this too. So how much time we got? How much time we got? I want to make sure that I say this the right way. I want to say this the right way. We live in a younger generation. We live in a younger. A lot of you young people, right? I mean, if you're 21, a lot of you young people relate to who can relate to. A lot of you young people relate to people who can relate to you that is not being forced. If I can have a conversation with you offline and you think that I get it, then of course when we sit down and it's online or it's on camera, we know we're gonna vibe. But if it seems forced, like, oh, you heard the newest Little Dirk? Yeah, I have. Which one? Which song you talking about? Hold on. What you think about the whole? I mean, let me see. Who else? Uh, uh, so you know what's going on with Pooh Shiesty? Yeah, I do. Do you know? Hold on. You don't know? Why would you ask me if you don't know? You know, why would you ask me about Lil Baby if you don't want to talk about Lil Baby? Why would you ask me about, Julio and what he said about NBA YoungBoy? You see what I'm saying, young Cody? Like, and I'm only using hip hop references because a lot of the young cats, they like hip hop references. Like some of the older ones too, but by the same token, like, so you don't think that when Maria Taylor sits down and she said, hey, you heard about when she says, you heard about what Fulio said on Vlad TV about NBA YoungBoy? And it'd be like, yeah, I heard it, but tell me what he said again. And she said, yeah, well, Fulio said that NBA YoungBoy was stupid for going around with no security. And not only that, he was dumb because he had a bunch of yes men around him. Because that's exactly what Fulio said. Fulio said that NBA YoungBoy was stupid because he had a lot of yes men around him, and that's why he's in jail. And then you know what? A player like, let's just use John Morant, gonna be like, for real? And I'm gonna have to look into that. Where you seeing this at? Y'all be blah 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 blah. So now that's off camera. So on camera, so Ja, it's Ja, right? So Ja, tell me about, playing in Memphis and getting to the playoffs and how far you got. And he's like, because he was relaxed. The whole thing, yeah, Cody, you know this, the whole thing about connecting with someone, right, is that you got to find that common ground. And if you're talking to somebody, especially if you're doing an interview, what do you want to do? You need them to be relaxed, right? Even if you got to touch about it, even if you're going to talk about a touchy subject, hey, look, we got to touch on this situation. So just go ahead and talk about it, from the jump and get that out the way. But I want you to be comfortable, right? These people who try to make people uncomfortable and get these hot takes and this, that, and other, it normally doesn't work because now the person that's being interviewed, especially if you try to catch them off guard, they're going to be. Exactly. And so, with that being said, those who are already on the fence with, and now this situation comes out, it's like, stick over here with Maria and Malika and Monica. Dang, that sound like LL Cool J song. Keisha, Angela, Pamela, Renee, I love you. You're from around the way. You know that song? I need you around the way, girl. Oh, yeah, because we got to get up out of here, man. Oh, my goodness. You've been tuning in to Sports Talk with Big Sarge right here on Raise the Praise 100. Hey, make sure you go to raisethepraise100.com and vote. Young Cody, tell me where they can find you at. And you can find me at Big Sarge Sports with the Z on Instagram and on the Twitter. Hey, special shout out to the Houston Astros. 4 players were selected to represent Houston in the 2021 Major League Baseball All-Star Game in Denver, Colorado. Yours truly, Big Sarge of Big Sarge Sports, will be in the house covering, giving you everything that you need. So make sure that you're dialed in and tuned in to Raise the Praise 100, and you follow me on Twitter at Big Sarge Sports with the Z. Special shout out to Carlos Correa, Jose Altuve, Ryan Presley, and Michael Brantley. I'm also headed down because they have a home series coming up with the Oakland A's, who they lead by 3.5 games for first place. But this is very, very good. And I'm hate that I'm going to miss the West Coast. The Yankees coming to town. You smell them. I bet you are. Sammy Sosa. Just like your hands. Yeah. I'm out.